I code a generator that chooses a random chess piece for us. Almost coded. Which we then will be forced to move. For example, if we roll a queen, we are forced to move the queen. And in case we wouldn't be able to move the piece in a situation, for example, like this, then we will do a reroll. So, as you may have read in the title, today we are playing against Martin. Alright, so I will begin with a pawn move. I'll just go for a queen pawns opening here. And yeah, let's see what I get here. I get a bishop. This is pretty good in the beginning because I just opened that file. But I'm sure if I want to go to the F square or the E square, because if I go to the F square, they can just push the pawn forward, and if I don't get a bishop move, then I can't defend that, and my bishop will be probably lost. So I will just go for this D2 move here, and alright, they played H6. Right, let's see what I get here. I get another bishop move. Well, this isn't that good. 22 pieces in the opening, not so ideal for us. But I think I will go for this F4 here. Yeah, I'm going to go with this F4 here. Oh, I shouldn't have moved my bishop array, because right now I'm in a bad spot. I'm in check right now, and my only option is to defend that is by getting a bishop, queen, or knight move here. Nice, I got a knight move. This is good for us. I can block it with the knight. As you see here, getting a check is pretty bad for us because defending it can sometimes be hard if I can't get the right piece. So we need to be really careful with our king here. And we get a pawn move here. It's pretty good for us. I think I would just go with the safe E3 here. And yeah, let's see what we get. Knight move. This is pretty good. We get this knight active here. My going knight F3, putting the knight into play, and we are again in check. So we need to get a knight move, a queen move, or a king move here, or else we will be lost. So if I can't, if I don't get one of these moves right here, I will have to resign this game, because otherwise it won't be possible to yeah. But luckily we got a knight move here. I hope that I can castle 3 soon. Pretty soon here, so my king will be safe. Alright, I got a pawn move here. Alright, I could play here C3 or C4. I'll go with this C4, because if they will eat that, then I can go with the D5 knight and develop that forward. Right, let's see what we get with a rook move here. So I think I will just go for this C5 here, so that the pawn gets extra protection if it gets eaten. And let's see what I get here. Pawn move. This is pretty good. I think I will just hit the D5 pawn, so my rook gets open file. Can also go with this E4 here, but I think I will still go with the D8. Alright, another pawn move. I think I will go with this B3 here. Oh, I shouldn't have moved my bishop array, because right now I'm in a bad spot. I'm in check right now, and my only option is to defend that is by getting a bishop, queen, or knight move here. Nice, I got a knight move. This is good for us. I can block it with the knight. As you see here, getting a check is pretty bad for us because defending it can sometimes be hard if I can't get the right piece. So we need to be really careful with our king here. And we get a pawn move here. It's pretty good for us. I think I would just go with the safe e3 here. And yeah, let's see what we get. Knight move. This is pretty good. We get this knight active here. By going knight f3, putting the knight into play, and we are again in check. So we need to get a knight move, a queen move, or a king move here, or else we will be lost. So if I can't, if I don't get one of these moves right here, I will have to resign this game because otherwise it won't be possible to, yeah. But luckily we got a knight move here. I hope that I can castle 3 soon. It is even here, so my king will be safe. Alright, I got a pawn move here. Alright, I could play here c3 or c4. I'll go with this c4, because if they will eat that, then I can go with the d5 knight and develop that forward. Right, let's see what we get with a rook move here. So I think I will just go for this c5 here, so that the pawn gets extra protection if it gets eaten. And let's see what I get here. Pawn move. This is pretty good. I think I will just hit the d5 pawn. So my rook gets open file. Can also go with this e4 here, but I think I will still go with the d8. Alright, another pawn move. I think I will go with this b3 here. It's pretty good for us because the a2 pawn was hanging, and now we protect it. Right, we get a bishop move. This is pretty good for us because we can move the light square bishop out and at the same time prepare for castling on the king side. Alright, we get a knight move. I think I will just push it out so we can attack the pawn. Alright, we get a pawn move here. It's pretty unfortunate for us because right now all of our pawns were in a good position. I don't want to move any pawn. This is not good for us. I think I'll just move this each pawn here just to stop my opponent to push his pawn. And we get another knight move here. I think I will just move it backwards to the d5 here. And at the same time we are going to attack the opponent's queen. Right, they moved the knight. This is pretty interesting. He left his queen out there standing. I hope I get a bishop move. Oh, that's very good for us. We get a bishop move. We take the queen here, and at the same time attack his king. Alright, we get another bishop move here. It's pretty good. We can take the hanging pawn on the c file. And we get a third bishop move. I just saw that we left a bishop hanging there. Luckily Martin didn't take that. And we get a fourth bishop move. I think I will just move my bishop to the f file here, so it attacks the knight on c file and the rook on a file. And now we get a pawn move. This is actually the worst move I probably could get right now. I think I will just have to move my pawn on g file. Oh, I didn't see actually he could en passant me there. But luckily it's Martin. We get the king move finally here. We can castle. I'm actually not sure if I should castle right here in this position, because right now my king is in safety and it feels like it's a bit more in open space on the g1 square there, but I think I will still castle in this situation because all other king moves would be pretty bad. We get the queen move here. I think I will just put it in the c file here, so it doubles up with the rook. We get the king move. This is pretty unfortunate. I think I'll just move it to this dark square here, because my opponent doesn't have like anything that could attack that immediately. Alright, we get a bishop move here. I think I'll just take this knight on the c file. It puts me in a pretty strong position here, even though he can eat with the knight back. We get the queen move. I'm actually not sure here what I should do, but I think I will just put it on the c file here, so that it attacks the knight and also threatens the king. We get the knight move here. I think I will just move my knight forward. Right, he took my bishop there. Let's hope we get the queen move so that we can eat the knight and at the same time attack the bishop and the rook. Alright, we get a king move. This is again not that good for us. I think I'll just move it back to the dark square. Right, a pawn move. I think I will just push my a pawn here and attack his knight. We get the knight move. I think it's not that good actually for us, but at least we can move the knight to the safety so that his f pawn can't attack it. Right, again a king move. Alright, he moved his king. I'm not actually sure why. Now we get the queen move. That's pretty good for us. We can't at least attack his king, because the rook would just probably take our queen there if we don't get another queen move. And we got the pawn move. Our queen would probably have been lost there if we wouldn't have moved it to the safety. But I think I will just push my b pawn here so that it is protected by the a pawn. We get the bishop move. I think it's pretty good. We can probably attack his rook and at the same time open the line for my queen and my rook. We get the pawn move. I think it's pretty useless for us. I think I'll just push my f pawn one step forward so that it protects my g pawn there. And of course, again, pawn development is always good in late game. Right, he moved his rook. This is pretty bad for us. Let's hope we get a queen move here, so that our queen isn't lost. Alright, we got a queen move. This is actually very good for us. I think I will just move my queen to safety. Alright, we got a rook move. It's pretty good. I think I will just trade rooks here, because we are right now still up in material. And then we get a bishop move. Right, we got the king move again. And we get a rook move. Normally, I would just attack his rook and trade rooks that way. But now, if we don't get a queen move after it, our rook will be gone. A knight move. I think I will just bring my knight up and start to attack his king. We get the queen move, and I'm just going to put it on an open file. And with the king move, I think I will just move it to this F file. We get the bishop move, and we don't have any bishop left. So that means we're just going to move the most useless move we could come up with. So in this case, I'm just going to move my king back to where I had it. We get the pawn move, and I don't want to push this f pawn at least, because if they eat it and I don't get a pawn move, then it can just become a passed pawn and move forward. I think I'll just move my d pawn here and make some kind of attack and trying to get a passed pawn. We get the king move. I'm just going to move my king to safety. And another king move. I'm just going safety with that again on this e1 square. Now get the pawn move. I'm just going to push it forward because we have our rook and our knight protecting it. Mate, we get a bishop move, and we don't have our bishop again, so we are just going to move our king. We get the queen move. I think I'm just going to attack his rook and his bishop simultaneously by moving it to c7 square. Now get a pawn move, and that's good for us because we can eat the bishop that he traded. We got the rook move, and that's good for us. We can protect our b pawn. We got the bishop move again, and that means it's a king move for us. Now we get the pawn move. I'm just going to push my pawn and trying to promote it. We got the queen move. I'm just going to move it back so that it could attack his pawns and his rook at the same time. That was probably the worst move he could make. We could eat it and at the same time promote our pawn, and that would be really nice if we got a pawn now. And we get the pawn move, so that means we get to promote our pawn to a queen, and at the same time we get to eat his rook. Alright, we get the king move. I'm just going to push my king forward because he is probably going to eat my rook with his pawn. No get the queen move. This is very good for us. I'm just going to put him in check. No get the king move. I'm just going to eat his pawn. No get the pawn move. I'm just going to eat his pawn.